So, I laugh. A lot of people these days, I hear them saying, oh, America has never been so divided, and I always crack up when I hear this because forget about the Civil War when we were actually at war with ourselves. I mean, forget about that. But in my lifetime, which I admit has gone on now for hundreds and hundreds of years, but still in my lifetime, I remember the president getting shot, and then the president's brother getting shot, and shot and killed, assassinated, and then the top civil rights guy in the country, Martin Luther King, getting shot. And then the second civil rights guy in the country, Malcolm X, getting shot. I mean, people were getting killed. Important people were getting assassinated left and right. Universities were on fire. There were riots all over. We were much more divided then. But it is the one thing that is different now is who the elite establishment was rooting for. The elite establishment was rooting for America. It was the rebels. It was the guys out in the street who were saying America stinks. It was Jane Fonda who was waving, communist flags and going over to Hanoi and supporting the communists in Vietnam. Those were the rebels. Those were the outsiders. Now they have become the establishment, and they are still rooting against this country. And this thing about this movie, about the idea of a movie where you're identifying with the girl who's being chased around, or you're identifying with the killer who's chasing her, it changes everything. It changes the exact same story. It's the same story, but everything has changed. It matters who you're rooting for. Sometimes I think that this is what it means when they say that the Jews are God's chosen people. Seriously, obviously it's not everything is going to go well for them. That can't be what it means. What it means is when we read the Bible, we read it from their point of view, and it makes a difference, right? If you hear the Battle of Jericho and how the Jews come in with this small force and play horns and the walls come tumbling down, and you read that from the Jews' point of view, you think like, wow, it's a miracle. You can accomplish anything if God is with you. If you just have faith, you are more than a conqueror. You can do anything you want. That's what you learn when you read it from the Jews' point of view. But if you happen to be sitting around in Jericho, minding your own business, and these illegal immigrants come into your country and start blowing horns and blow down your walls and come and sack your city, it's a different story. It's a different story. And that's what it means. That's why we read the Bible from one particular point of view. You have to read it from someone's point of view. We're not God. We don't see the world from just above the ground where everybody is equal. We see it from a point of view, and that changes everything. And, I talk about this with abortion all the time. This is why I pay so much attention to the press and to Hollywood, because the press and Hollywood teach us how a story is told, what perspective it's told from. And this is one of my problems with abortion. Abortion is always told in our left-wing press. It's always told from the point of view of the mother. It's never told from the point of view of the baby, of what that baby's life would be like, what the baby is losing, the fact that the baby has no voice. The mother has a voice, the mother has a choice, but the baby has no voice, no choice, no vote, no way of telling his or her story. That's the problem. That crazy actress. Celebrities, I think, are the worst. They're not the worst people. I just think they're the craziest people on earth. Why they should ever just talk about anything other than what they do for a living, I don't know. But that crazy actress, Alyssa Milano, sent out a tweet saying, she could never have had the many joys of her life if she hadn't had her 2 abortions. And I thought, all right, I buy that. That's probably true. But what's the baby story? What are those 2 baby stories? They never had the joys of their lives. I mean, that's the whole point. And you could say it about anybody. I could never have had this wonderful second marriage if I hadn't killed and buried my first wife in the backyard. Anybody can tell the story from his point of view, but we have to decide whose point of view we want to see things from. And this country, there's a natural love of country. There's a natural, straightforward love of country, right? It's just like your love for your mom. Nobody goes out. Remember Obama said that thing about, oh, yes, there's American exceptionalism, but I'm sure the Brits think about Brits exceptionalism and the Greeks think about Greek exceptionalism. Anybody ever say that about his mom? Yeah, my mom is the best, but I'm sure Tom thinks his mom is the best and Bill thinks his mom is the best. So it's not that they're really the best. We just think that way. Of course not. Of course not. That would be inhuman. It would be unnatural. It would be a little bit neurotic, okay? It would be just a little bit crazy not to feel that. America deserves that from us, but it also deserves more because of the values on which it's founded. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute, but it really does. America deserves not just the typical mother love that we all that anyone gives to our country. Breathes there a man with soul so dead who never to himself has said, this is my own, my native land, that old great poem. That is a natural feeling, but America deserves more than that from us because of the values on which it's founded, because of the way it changed the world. Everything is tickety-boo, including the massive growth of the Daily Wire YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and catch all our future videos right here on YouTube.